My name is Jim Payne, and I will be moderating this morning. We are going to go in a sequence of first Scott Hunt, the Arizona State Forestry Director, then Jim Carls, the lead for the investigation team, and Mike Dudley, the deputy for the investigation team. Following that, Scott will have another comment, and then we will have a question and answer period, approximately 45 minutes with the panel. And following that, there will be opportunities for individual interviews for the media in the foyer, in the lobby. I would like to introduce Scott Hunt, Arizona State Forester. Next is Jim Carls. He's the Serious Accident Investigation Team Leader. Also Mike Dudley, who is the Deputy in Serious Accident Investigation Lead. And then with us, we of course have Chief Dan Frejo and Chief Darrell Willis. What I'd like to do right now is to take a moment of silence for our fallen 19 and the other firefighters that we have lost during 2013. Thank you. All right. I mentioned that it has been posted. We've been showing previously the website for gaining access to the report. Once again, we will discuss the ground rules for the questions and answers in a few minutes after our formal presentations, and then once again we will have presentations in the back. I would like to now invite Arizona State Forester Scott Hunt to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I apologize for the lateness. We were giving summer briefing to the families, and we felt it was important to give them appropriate time to ask questions. Our hearts will forever go out to the 19 Granite Mountain Hotshot members and their families. This morning we also provided a similar briefing to the Prescott Fire Department personnel and to the wildland firefighters that were working in Yarnell Hill Fire on June 30th. We know that this report and its findings are of great interest to all people across the state and the country, and especially to our wildland firefighting community. In order to facilitate understanding of what happened and why, we made this accident investigation report available in its entirety online today. And this report is the final report. This is the report I have. This is the only report. On July 3rd, I convened the Serious Accident Investigation Team, delegated them the responsibility of reviewing and reporting on the circumstances leading to the tragedy of the Granite Mountain Hotshots. The final objective of the accident investigation was to provide a factual and management report regarding the events and conditions related to the tragedy at Yarnell Hill, so that the entire wildland fire community can work together to prevent future accidents. Since the incredibly sad events of June 30th, there have been rightly lots of questions, concerns, and issues raised. This report is our best effort to provide the facts as we can discern them about what actually happened on the Yarnell Hill Fire and why. In many other accidents, we were able to talk to the crews or individual survivors to determine how they made sense of the events surrounding them. In this case, we can't talk to the 19 people who would be best able to give us some of that insight. Since this is the case, not all facts are known or will ever be known. Even after in-depth analysis, some questions still remain unanswered. However, I believe this report has done a very good job of reconstructing the events and developing conclusions and learning discussions based on the information that was available to our team. I hope that each of you will take time to read the complete report and find ways to keep the memory of the Granite Mountain Hotshots alive as we strive to learn from this tragedy. Now I'd like to turn over the podium to Jim Carls.
Morning. I'm Jim Carls. I'm the state forester from Florida and the team leader for the serious accident investigation from the Yarnell Hill Fire. 19 firefighters died on June 30th on the Yarnell Hill Fire. And our goal in this accident, our request for our delegation from the Arizona State Division of Forestry was to put a report together that looked at what happened during the course of that Yarnell Hill Fire and lay out the factual report, the narrative, the conclusions, the recommendations of what happened on June 30th for those 19 firefighters. It's been 80 years in the United States since we had this kind of fatality on a fire. And to lose all 19, as Scott had said, and not have somebody there to talk to makes it a very tough situation, a very different investigation. We came into this investigation with the thought process of one, giving the state of Arizona what we feel happened on the Yarnell Hill Fire, and two is providing a learning document for the future firefighters of this country. And that was our goal. That was an absolute goal to this report. And as Scott has already said, there's one report. The report I handed over to the state of Arizona this week is the only report that I did on this fire, and the only report I plan to do on this fire. It's in two parts. The first part is the factual management part of it, the narrative of what happened on that fire, the recommendations, the conclusions, and the summary. The second part is a discussion and a lessons learned part that the firefighters of the future can take. And they can read, and they can ask themselves questions, and they can learn from this incident, this very tragic incident. The makeup of our investigation team, myself and Mike Dudley were the team lead and the deputy lead. We had 16 additional personnel, subject matter experts throughout the fire arena. Fuels, weather, topography, fire operations. We had a superintendent from a hotshot crew. We had people that experts in the sense-making process and the analytical thought process of how we communicate on the fire lines. A very strong group, a very good group of subject matter experts. And then we took it a step further, and then we brought in subject matter experts from all over the country, hotshot superintendents, operations people, and incident management people. And we vetted the report with them and allowed them to read it, to ask questions, and to make sure that we hadn't missed anything, and we were going down the right direction. The report is a combination of the serious accident investigation process and the facilitating learning analysis, and it's based on learning. My entire objective is to give the state of Arizona, to our best ability, what happened on the Yarnell Hill Fire, and to ensure that we learn from that into the future. And with that, I'm going to introduce Mike Dudley, my deputy with the U.S. Forest Service, and give him a moment to talk.
Thank you. And again, Mike Dudley, Director of State and Private Forestry for Regions 1 and 4 of the U.S. Forest Service. I'm based in Ogden, Utah, and I was here as the deputy lead for the team. One of the things you're going to take a look at just and shortly is a video. And this video was put together for two purposes. One was to use it as a tool. It's a summation of what is in the report, but more importantly, it's a graphical representation of what took place starting Friday afternoon with the initial attack of the Yarnell Hill, ending with the deployment of the Granite Mountain Hotshots Sunday afternoon. It shows the fire behavior, it puts it into a Google Earth format so you can see the spread and how it operates. That was done so that we could give that to the families, which we just completed, so that they could see exactly how it took place. It's a different representation than just looking at a map within a report. And it helps set some of the basis for questions that we were able to respond to. The other aspect, though, is that it's going to be hosted on the web. It's there now. The link is live. And it's going to be used by the Wildland Fire Lessons Learned Center. And it's going to be a learning tool for our crews, starting with next fire season, where they'll be able to use it as part of their training, as part of the process, to try and understand what took place. It will change over the course of the next few months, because the work that we put together into this video took place over the course of about a week and a half, that we had the team that was working on this be able to put it together. So there's more that we can do, especially in the technology of Google Earth and the way fire behavior is processed. And so you'll see that change over the next few months as we get ready to use it for our crews, as we get ready for next fire season, and more importantly, not next fire season, but for future generations. This entire report and what took place will be a process that will be studied for years to come, and we know that. And this is an important step in how we process that. So please spend a few minutes. It's 21 minutes long. Listen to it, and then we'll be ready for responding to questions.